And welcome into the MLB Hot Stove Daily here at the Upside Sports Network. My name is Michael. Appreciate you guys taking the time on a busy Monday in the world of sports to join us here and discuss some Major League Baseball. MLB opening day is right around the corner. MLB pseudo opening day is already here. We already got some discussion about that in our chat. Feel free to join us. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit that like button on the video as well. Goes a long way to helping us out here at the Upside. The hearts are nice, but make sure you hit that thumbs up on the video as well. On tonight's show, we're going to discuss all things around Major League Baseball in the first month of the season. We've talked extensively about the injuries in a lot of different places right now around Major League Baseball. How are teams going to get out of the gate? Are they going to stumble early? Are they going to fall behind the 8 ball a little earlier than we might expect? And of course, we'll prepare you for our MLB Power Ranking show coming out on Wednesday that will have all of the new adjustments as a result of those injuries in spring training. We'll also discuss the Braves adding a catcher and a trade as they clear off some roster flexibility in order to get that acquisition done. And we'll also discuss some other news around Major League Baseball as well, including some things from the Players Association, including the Miami Marlins as well. But I want to welcome every one of you guys in. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe. Follow us on X at UpsideSN and on Facebook at Upside Sports Network. Now, as far as Major League Baseball goes, opening day is one of the most exciting times of the year. Of course, the trade deadline's fantastic. Winter meetings are great. And, of course, crowning a new champion is always great, of course. But opening day, there's just something different about it. I mean, all of us have, started to do a little bit of work if we do some fantasy baseball, trying to figure out who we want to go with, what gems we might see in the rough, and, who we might want to target in our pitching staff. All of those kinds of things. We've been looking at those things for about a week or two now as we've started to see injuries start to kind of clear up some of the roster decisions that we might have to make. But now that opening day is right around the corner here, it's time to get serious. The predictions that we had going into the offseason, completely different than what they were after the winter meetings, completely different than what they were after the start of the new year. And then spring training rolls around, and now you have major injuries to several pitching staffs out there. You can guarantee those predictions will be different as well. So when opening day does get here, we will reset our predictions for the 2025 season. Those will be the ones that will be gospel for the year. So we'll kind of keep your eyes peeled for that one as well. Welcome in Holly, Cowboys Nation, Anthony. Appreciate you guys joining us. A little bit underground on there. Okay. I'm a pretty good fan of the parlay myself. I'll put it that way. Do I do underdog? No, I don't. All right. As far as some of the early surprises that we could see, one, let's take into account some of the injuries. Yankees, of course, are going to try to piece together that rotation early in the year. As of yet, they have not made a major addition to that rotation to fill the void left by Garrett Cole. There's been some really good performances out of some younger players that look like they're going to get a real chance at the big league level immediately here. Looking at the Texas Rangers, that it sounds like they're going to have Kumar Rocker and Jack Leiter in their starting rotation early in the year. A rotation that we told you all off season long had red flags written all over it. And one of those guys that we weren't necessarily viewing as a red flag is going to be out for 2 to 3 months with a wrist fracture. Again, more red flags for the Texas Rangers pitching staff. We'll see how they ultimately sort it out. But let's go ahead and pull up our screen here for you guys. Let me get it pulled up. All right, so this is the New York Mets schedule. Their opener, anyway, is going to be the 27th against the Astros, a good series in Houston. You go on to play the Marlins next. In April, Marlins, Blue Jays, A's, Twins, Cardinals, Phillies, Nationals, Diamondbacks. This is a Mets team that should be able to get off to a nice start. Not a whole lot above 500 teams here. I'm seeing maybe the Astros as one team. Blue Jays, I'm sure, will give them a bit of a fight early in the year. Twins should be good in the start of the year. Cardinals, again, in a rebuilding situation. Phillies will be a huge series for them. Other than that, Diamondbacks, just a final couple of games there at the end of the month. Mets should be able to get out to a nice start to the season. We're probably talking a 20-win month here, somewhere in that range. 18 to 20 wins here, and that would get them off on a great start there in that division. So Mets should get off to a hot start. They're one team that has significant injuries that could see some faltering in that rotation that causes them to stumble. But looking at their schedule, I just don't see where it would happen. I mean, the A's have a good offense, but to me, they still lack the pitching to be able to get it done. All right, let's go ahead and look at another team that's had significant injury issues. We're not going to run through all teams, so I will say that. That would take us all night. But I will say that we're going to go through some of the teams that have had significant injury issues or changes to what their team was originally expected to be. For instance, the New York Yankees. Let's look at their schedule. Get rid of this ad there. Regular season schedule, please. All right, regular season. Brewers, they face at the end of the month. Diamondbacks, Pirates, Tigers, Giants, Royals, Rays, Guardians, Blue Jays, and Orioles. That's a pretty tough month for them. Couple of under 500 teams, but all of them that are at least solid. They're not really facing any bottom dwellers here. Rays, to me, fourth best team, maybe fifth best team in that division. Pirates, third or fourth best team in that division. Blue Jays, fourth or fifth best team in the AL East. Then you get a couple of tough ones here with the Diamondbacks and Orioles to start. And you got the Brewers as well. Are you facing any big offenses? Let's kind of look at that one since that's the pitching issue here. Pirates are not really formidable offensively. Giants are better, but not necessarily formidable. Orioles are really the only really strong offense that you face early in the year, so they might be able to get away with this. The Diamondbacks are a pretty solid offensive group, but other than that, I would say the Yankees might be able to escape through the month of April with what they've got on hand. They might not need to bring in an ace right off the bat here and be able to be a little bit more patient instead of just paying top dollar to bring in Dylan Cease, which has been reported over the last couple of weeks anyway. Let's go ahead and look at another team that's kind of had some changes go on. Let's look at the Texas Rangers schedule. All right. They begin the season against the Boston Red Sox with a 4-game series at home. They face Cincinnati. Red Sox, to me, are a vastly improved team. Then you get the Rays, Cubs, Mariners, Angels, Dodgers, A's, Giants, and A's again. A's kind of saved the month for the Rangers for me. Otherwise, the Dodgers, Red Sox, Cubs, I think would give them some trouble. Mariners don't really frighten me as far as a offensive juggernaut type of a team right now. So I will say that this is a tough schedule for a first month. But I'll say they're probably a little bit above 500. They'll probably be, we'll call it 3 to 4 games above 500 by the end of it here. Let's see. You think Leiter and Hauser are the 4 and 6 for Texas? I'll say the Jack Leiter is probably the 4 or 5. I think Kumar Rocker is likely to be that 4 or 5 as well. Hauser has a good chance. Patrick Murphy has a good chance. But I do think their preference is to start with Kumar Rocker, riding the pine for the first month of the season just to kind of distribute his innings a little bit better, not burn them all out in the beginning of the year. But again, Rangers have not had great injury luck when it comes to significant injuries on their pitching staff. So use the innings while you have them. You're not guaranteed to have a healthy Kumar Rocker at the end of the season, nor any other healthy pieces right now for that matter. So go ahead and use some of the innings now. I wouldn't necessarily worry about having him available for the postseason this early in the season. Now, Jacob deGrom, the whole plan, the whole reason why you're being patient with him is to make sure he's available at the end of the season. So two completely different situations here. Kumar Rocker could be a difference maker for you. Jacob deGrom is a difference maker for you. So I'll say the Rangers probably start the season 4 games above 500. Let's see here. Boo, Yankees starting the season 2 and 14. I don't really think that. I do think they still have a decent enough squad, and they're getting a good start to their schedule anyway by not facing any real behemoths offensively. I do think the A's are better offensively for a period of time last year. They were the number 1 offense in all of baseball. I think a lot of that is going to have some regression coming back to it. I still think they're going to be above average offensive team, but I don't necessarily think they're going to be the same level that they were in the second half last year. Now, with that being said, the Yankees do face Baltimore there. They are a really formidable team. Rangers here are going to face the Dodgers, of course, the World Series favorite, best lineup in baseball, in my opinion, as currently constructed. And then, of course, you have the Boston Red Sox right off the top there. It's going to be a tough month, but I do think the Rangers are going to be above 500. Let's look at some other teams that have gone through some changes since the start of the season. Most notably, the Boston Red Sox. Well, I say start of the season, start of the spring training season anyway. They're going to have a lot of youth coming and very quickly here. So how are they going to get out of the gate? Of course, they face the Rangers and then another tough series. Both of those series are on the road, Texas and Baltimore. That's a tough start to the season. Cardinals, Blue Jays, White Sox, that's very helpful. White Sox again, Mariners, Rays. So basically you're getting elite competition to start, and then you're hitting bottom of the barrel there with the White Sox early. This might even out for the Red Sox. They'll probably start out a little bit under 500 with that rough of a schedule to start. But once they hit that White Sox, Rays, Cardinals stretch there, they should be in pretty good shape to get above 500 once again. So I'll say the Red Sox are in that same boat with the Rangers by the end of the month. Thoughts on your last comment, Anthony? Because I've seen 2 seasons where it ended up in back-to-back doubleheader for one team because a whole bunch of games got canceled because of weather. We do see a lot of weather issues early in the season because, again, who knows what's going to go on early in the year. More extreme weather as far as cold, wet weather, especially some Florida games. I remember Florida when they were in a different stadium back then. They had routinely rained out games for stretches of the season when they had that stadium. And they played a lot of games in rain delays, I'll put it that way. But weather should be a factor in some ways, but it's still a 162-game season. They'll figure it out. I don't really worry about doubleheaders or anything along those lines. But as far as if you're trying to get more bang for your buck, if you will, if you do a lot of the day-to-day fantasy stuff or the day-to-day betting stuff, those kinds of things can give you another bite at the apple, which is, all well and good. But for me, while I like to do some parlays, I'm not necessarily advocating for parlays based on the availability of a doubleheader. As Players Association, did I miss that one? Oh, I missed your first comment there. Sorry there. Where did the need for doubleheaders come from? Do you think eventually Players Union is it? Going to try to eliminate those because of injuries? No, I don't think they'll ever try to eliminate them. I think they're a unique item, a unique property only to baseball. You're not going to see football ever have a doubleheader. You're not going to see basketball ever have a doubleheader. You're not going to see hockey ever have a doubleheader. Meanwhile, tennis possibly could do it. I think they've done it in the past where they'll complete one round and then do the next round that same day. Golf does it a little bit, but baseball is the only mainstream sport that has that as its at its disposal. As far as injuries, they do expand the rosters for game day on a doubleheader day. They give you an extra emergency pitcher who's only available for that day, is not actually called up, but they do get a day of service time. But they don't necessarily get added to your active roster. They immediately get sent right back down unless there's a corresponding move to send somebody else down, and then you keep that player up by activating them to the active roster. So I don't think the Players Union will ever really push back on it because, again, it's a unique property to baseball, and I don't think it necessarily matters that much to players. Injury risk, sure, just more time on the field, sure, but you have to play the games eventually anyway, and usually some of the tougher positions end up getting split time. So usually you have one catcher play the first game, another one play the second game. Very rarely do you see the same catcher in both games. Let's see here. Certain teams should have domes mandatory. True, I will say that one. Actually, long basketball does have doubleheaders, but they don't call it a doubleheader because they're called back-to-back. To me, a doubleheader is a game at noon and a game at 6 o'clock. That's a doubleheader. Now, if you're saying a doubleheader is, say, playing at 7 o'clock the night before and then at noon the next day, that's still not necessarily a doubleheader to me. And basketball actually has some rules as far as how much time must elapse between the start of one game and the start of another game. You're never really going to have a true doubleheader in that way. Let's see here. D-Rod, Michael, good evening, sir. I remember when doubleheaders were scheduled in a season. Less injuries at the time. DH aren't causing injury directly. The change in baseball philosophy has. That last line there, the change in baseball philosophy is, that's exactly the problem with injuries right now. Overthrowing, all max effort, velocity, spin rates, those kinds of things are very different than the sport has ever really been useful or used as. Pitchability, the ability to hit a spot, the ability to shape pitches, all of that was high or a lot more valuable at the time. Nowadays, it's a lot of radar gun stuff early, a lot of spin rates, curveballs, that kind of thing afterward, and then finally you get some real coaching at the big league level, where then you finally learn the art of pitching. So we can't really blame these kids for not really trying to develop a pitchability type to their game, because that's not what got them to be so successful. It's the ability to hit triple digits on the radar gun. So you're exactly right about that one, D-Rod. All right, let's go through a couple more teams. Like I said, I don't want to go through every single one of these, but just some teams that have had some significant changes to their rosters. Let's look at the Atlanta Braves. Now that they've kind of got their roster pretty much set with Jurickson Profar coming in, and really like the way they've got this thing set up now. And it looks like their catcher situation looks like it's going to be taken care of as well. They open with the Padres and the Dodgers, two tough teams. And if Cease and King and Arise are still there, they're going to be a really tough out anyway. Marlins, a little bit of a cakewalk. Then you get the Philadelphia Phillies, Rays, Toronto, Twins, Cards, D-backs, and Rockies. A little bit balances out, but it does start out a little rougher. I'll say they're a little under 500 based on the tougher schedule that they have here. They'll probably be in the third or fourth place spot out of the month here. So maybe the Nationals start a little bit better than them. Who knows? But I'd say that with this schedule that they've got, I'd say they're probably a game or two under 500 by the end of April. Cowboys Nation, it's all about spin rate. We never use to see this amount of Tommy John issues at this rate. Absolutely agree. D-Rod, how do you think the D-backs set their rotation 1 through 5? Great question. So when I hear 1 through 5, that means best through worst. So for instance, the Texas Rangers are going to have Jacob DeGrom as their number 5 starter as far as how they'll utilize him, but he's not their 5th best starter. Obviously, he's their number 1. So kind of keeping that argument in mind here, if you're setting up your rotation, I would say Gallen is their 1. I'd say Burns is their 2. Kelly is their 3. Pfaadt is their 4. And I think they're going to try to get something out of Rodriguez. So I think he'd probably be their 5 with Montgomery, Nelson, and others in the bullpen or in the minor leagues. So I'd say that's their 5 as far as how they would roll it out there. Nats and Reds going to be sneaky good, absolutely. Cowboys Nation, you think Burns, Gallen, Kelly, Pfaadt, and Rodriguez? I don't think they would put Gallen as the number 2 pitcher in that rotation. I think that he's earned the role as the opening day starter, the number 1 guy in there. Now, once we get to October, things could be different. Maybe Gallen is proved to not be quite as good as Burns, and then we'd probably see Burns at the top in Game 1 of a postseason series. But I would say Gallen gets the nod as the number 1 for now until proven differently. No, Michael, baseball, yeah. Sorry, crossing up my words here. Baseball to me is a typical game. I'm talking a lot about travel league, high school coaches, and you're seeing them teach these young guys how to pitch and control with velocity. Honestly, I don't see it nearly as much as we should. Will I say, how do I put this? Will I say they're trying to make a better effort to teach these guys how to take better care of their bodies by not throwing max effort, by not trying to throw curveballs before they're to the right age, their arm development, all those kinds of things? Yes, I will say that they're trying to do better. But we all know how this thing works. To get in the draft, to be drafted, you have to throw hard. That's how you get high up in the draft. Of course, you still have to have the results to go along with it. You can't just throw a 110-mile-an-hour fastball and say, hey, I can't throw it over the plate, at all, but I throw 110. Nobody's going to draft you 1-1 in the MLB draft because you hit 110 on a radar gun. They're going to draft you number 1 overall because you can hit 102 and be able to dot it up every now and again and have an earned run average in college of .96. Something like that gets you drafted really high. So you have to have a mixture of ability, results, and projectability. Pitchability is not a projectable skill. That's why you see those guys really fizzle out. And while coaches and travel ball teams are trying to do better as far as educating their players and trying to avoid having them do those kinds of things, it's inevitable. They're going to try to do it anyway. They're kids after all. They're trying to get drafted. They're looking out for themselves and their futures, as they should be. But I think that the way they're incentivized right now at the big league level to get drafted is to throw hard, be able to locate every now and again, and just try to show some projectability, and you're going to have a nice career one way or the other. Show the ability to just get outs, but not be able to get strikeouts, or not be able to spin it really fast, or throw it really hard. You're not really going to be drafted very high, and you're going to have impeccable results every single step of the development process in order for you to even move up from A ball to high A ball. And forget about getting to double A. That's restricted for guys that they view have a significant future with the franchise, and guys with pitchability are rarely seen as those players. All right, let's go through a couple of other ones here. Just some interesting ones that caught my eye over the last couple of days. The Houston Astros, with all their injury issues in their rotation right now, I wanted to look at their schedule just to see how things would shape up in a competitive American League West. They start with the Mets. That's not a bad series, a 3-game set. Giants. Going into April, you get the Twins, Mariners, Angels, Cardinals, Padres. This is a pretty soft schedule, I will say that. Padres are a pretty decent team, second or third in that division, but for me, I still think they're pretty good. For me, this Houston Astros team should get off to a really nice start. Even with their issues in the rotation, if they really want to make hay this season and try to hold on to this division, they're going to have to mop up here. I would say they're going to have to do, 20 wins here, 20-7, somewhere in that range. Kind of a 2-1, 3-1 win-to-loss ratio here in the month. Otherwise, I think that the schedule that they'll face later on in the season will be a little bit more debilitating to them when they face the better teams like the Dodgers and Phillies of the world. But here, this is a division that's pretty much Texas and Houston for me, and this is a very winnable month of April for the Houston Astros. If they're neck and neck with the Rangers at the time, by the time this month is over, the month of April anyway, I'd say that the Astros are going to fall behind rather precipitously, and I'd be telling you guys to start paying attention to it if you do a couple of those things we were talking about earlier in our live. You catch any of the Basayo highlights, kid's going to be a monster. I did see a few of those. He looks really good, man. That's why I think that the asking price is absolutely ridiculous for Dylan Cease. I would not be giving up on a kid like that for a 1-year rental. I might give you up some nicer pieces down lower in my organization, but I'm not giving you a premium asset like that, even though you may think it's fair value. To me, it's not even close. Baseball Trade Values says the same thing. Let's do one last one, and that's going to be the Los Angeles Dodgers, the favorite of all favorites this year to really win. All right, so of course they face the Cubs here, 2-game set, and then their season really gets going here. Tigers, Braves, a lot of travel here for them to deal with, injuries early in the season. Phillies, Cubs again, Rockies, Nationals, Rangers, Pirates, and Marlins. It's a tough schedule, I will say that, but this is a really good team. This team, I would say, has a chance to really break through and win, more games than any other franchise ever has in regular season history. I think this is a good month for them to kind of space out their games, get really, build that locker room or clubhouse camaraderie there, that clubhouse presence in there, and try to sort out how this team is going to perform. Betts being ill for the Cubs series does not work out well for them, obviously, but you'd rather be it something like that than, say, a health issue that's going to keep him out extended periods of time here. But the Dodgers should do very well here in the month of April. I would say, do I think they have a chance to break the 116? I do. Do I think they have a chance to break 120? I do. This month here, I think they easily go, 2-1 win versus loss, maybe 3-1. It's that type of schedule where there's a couple of teams that could scare them, but other than that, they should be sweeping the Rockies. Pirates, to me, I don't think have nearly enough offense to be able to compete. Same thing with the Marlins. They could rattle off 6-game win streak after 6-game win streak here if they so chose to get it done. Let's see here. I agree with D-Rod. A lack of throwing a windup is causing most of these injuries. These guys are throwing more from the stretch down instead of having a wind-up motion. True. Let's see here. D-Rod, love that the Japanese series is sponsored by Guggenheim. So wrong. Well, it is a Guggenheim group that owns them, I will say that. Let's see. Cowboys Nation, well, yeah, you defer your entire salary cap for 10 years. Well, again, not a salary cap, but the deferred money is going to be addressed in the next CBA. I don't think it's useful to argue about it right now, primarily because nothing's going to change about it. But once we get to the time to where we're negotiating it, I think it should be front of mind. And I do think there will be a work stoppage, partly because of that deferral issue, in addition to probably 10 or 12 other big-time issues that they're going to have to sort through as well. All right, appreciate you guys joining us. Just wanted to kind of go through a few of these teams and just kind of show you where these schedules really rest. One other thing I wanted to get to anyway, the Cubs, they did make it official. They are promoting Matt Shaw in advance of the opening of their season. But the other thing I wanted to point to is the signing of James McCann for the Braves. Now, Sandy Leon has had a pretty nice spring for them. Kirk Casale, another veteran that they had in camp. But instead, they decided to bring in James McCann. Tells me that they're going to be having him at the big league level until Murphy is ready to go. Remember, he is out due to an injury right now, so maybe this could be a longer fill-in than usual here for James McCann. Really good defender, not much with the bat, but it's still a good backstop overall. I think Sandy Leon would have probably been a better fit in-house, and you wouldn't have had to trade one of your other 40-man roster pieces away just to create the roster flexibility to get it done. They trade Angel Perdomo to the Los Angeles Angels today. A really good reliever, high upside guy, strikeout rate, all that. I think he's going to be a great fit out there in that Angels bullpen as they add another middle relief arm to a back-heavy bullpen, I'll put it that way. They don't really have many middle relief options. This is a good one for them to be able to get. They also designated Scott Kingery in order to get that deal done as well. So good on the Braves for adding to their catching depth, but I thought I would have rather have gone with Sandy Leon, but they chose to go this way instead. We didn't have a 100-game winner last season, true, but I do think we'll have at least one, maybe two. I'm not going to say three, but I do think there's a good chance we get two 100-win teams this year. Do you think the Dodgers are going to break the record for most pitchers in their pitching staff with starters over 17 wins? Well, let's count them down. You might have a chance with Ohtani. We'll see. Yamamoto, Sasaki, Glasnow, Snell. I don't think they're going to get that many pitchers with that many wins. Now, remember, they're going to utilize that bullpen. They have 3 elite closer options in that bullpen to go to. They don't need to overwork their starters. So, wins are not going to, the pitching win is not a thing that matters anymore. So do I think they'll reach that record? No, I don't. Where'd Robertson end up? He is still out there. Kimbrel is still out there. I would like to see him sign somewhere that still needs an 8th inning setup option. For instance, the Yankees, to me, still need an 8th inning guy. Rangers need a closer. Not sure he still really fits that mark, but he can do it in a pinch if necessary. A team like the Tigers, I think, would be a great fit for him as well as an 8th inning setup guy if one of their young guys doesn't work out at closer. And, they have that flexibility to be able to play him back there as well. But appreciate you guys joining us. This will be the last show we do before our help anyway leaves us for the next week. So it'll be a little bit of a one-man show the next week. So I do appreciate your patience with me as I try to work behind the scenes to get everything set during our live while we do these. So I just want to thank her once again for all the help she gives us and helping us share the video, get everything set up with the lights and sound and camera and everything. Really helpful. Just want to thank her once again. So she'll be back in a week to be able to help us out. So in the meantime, just be patient with me as I try to get everything set up during our lives when we post them. But Wednesday we'll have our power ranking show. We'll have our sports talk show once again on Sunday as well. So be sure to join us for those. Our power ranking show will probably be doing around the 8 o'clock hour on Wednesday. We might do another NFL free agency live on Wednesday afternoon. Be sure to join us if we get the time to do so. I will let you guys know tomorrow. More details on that to come. Again, if you guys want to reach out to us here at the Upside, we are looking at getting together and doing a baseball game this summer, somewhere around the NBA or the MLB trade deadline, whether it be before or after. I think it'd be really cool for us to get together as a group. If you are interested, feel free to reach out on our social media at Upside SN on X and on Facebook, Upside Sports Network. Just go ahead and just send us a direct message, and we'll try to get back to you. And just want to get a head count of how many people are legitimately interested in doing something like this. I want to get a real feel for how many people are interested in doing something like this. That way we get an idea of how viable this thing is going to be. Pick a game and ultimately plan it. Get it all ready to go. But appreciate you guys for joining us once again. All the likes, the hearts you guys send us, super chats means a lot to us. So I just want to say thank you guys for watching us and being a part of us here at the Upside. And thank you to all those a lucky lady out there who's helping us out quite a bit. So I really do appreciate all the help we do get here at the show. I'm watching a show with my girlfriend, but luckily she went to make herself dinner, so stop by tonight. This morning I got a pitcher's duel with, and I say Cubs win a 2-run homer night for Tucker. We shall see. We shall see. D-Rod, the people behind the scenes are underappreciated. Nice shout out. I agree. They don't get enough. They don't get enough pub. They do all the hard work, and certainly when I'm doing my 9 to 5, she's the one that's sharing the video. She's the one that's scheduling it. She's the one that's putting the tags in it. So I really do really do want to say thank you for all of her help. Thank you for joining us once again, Just Min. Appreciate you joining. I'm going to say Minx. I'm going to say Just Minx. Appreciate you joining us. Steven, where are you going for the game? Probably to the ballpark in Arlington. It's only an hour and a half away from my house. I think I got quite a few Texas viewers because I am based in Texas. We have a couple of local people that are interested in going already from the area, so probably be one of the Rangers games around the trade deadline. I'm just torn on whether to do it before the trade deadline or after, to kind of see how the team looks after the deadline. But they're a team I expect to be in contention, and I got to look at the schedule again just to see what the options are. But that's where I'm really kind of leaning towards, is the range somewhere around that time of year, to be able to do the game. So again, reach out to us at Upside Ascend on X and Upside Sports Network on Facebook. If you are interested, send us a direct message, just trying to keep a head count, see how many people are interested, and see if we can get together and do something. But we'll see you guys again tomorrow night. Stay safe, everybody.